disclosure, news and commentary number 98, 98, 98, 98, 98. Hey, 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 hey. Sorry for this getting a little later than usual, but you know, I was up for 24 hours. Finally got to go to sleep at 9 in the morning, which was exciting. And then I was like, I don't know when I'm going to get up. And I got up at 12. I got up at fucking 12. 3 hours. And then I just got up and got moving. So this is coming out now. Then I'm going to watch Raw. And then I'm going to go to sleep and hopefully be on a normal schedule. What passes for a normal schedule for me? This is Full Disclosure 98. We are closing in on that 100. What is the commentary about? I've waffled back and forth about this. I thought maybe I would highlight another artist. Instead, I'm just going to talk about them in the body of the Full Disclosure itself. We're going to talk about what makes a promotion or an entity related to pro wrestling viable. Who's viable and who's fucking not? I'm going to throw my standards out there. I'm going to throw out what I think, and then people are going to get really fucking mad about it. So that's what our commentary is about. Let's talk about these patrons. I've never had so many, and it's never gone so well. And I have a Patreon video of some note to do. I was going to do it today, but cut me some slack. I will get it done tomorrow. Though I'm going to have an incredibly busy week. We're going to talk about that as well. Justin and Ace and Charles and Brett and Derek and D. Rob Rod, Larry, not that one, but the other one, Diana, twice, Joe Black, Josh Fields, Dan, BWN, jumping in there. What the hell? Bro, sexy. What can you say? What can you say? Now we got a whole bunch of big bad booty daddies. We got Dylan jumping in there at the high level. We got the OG Myron who done live in that spot. We got Eric the World Walker who should get some kind of award for hanging with me for a lot of that 24-hour feed. This motherfucker crazy. He was there for at least 10 hours of that shit. Nuts. But it really helped me a lot because he and I would just chat back and forth, and that provided a nice little thing. Really great. You can tell I'm excited. We'll talk about it. But PWX stepping up. PWX, Dawn of a New Day, on the 20th. That's their next show coming up. You need to check that bad boy out. Cool? Cool. It's great to have PWX back. The scene in general is not the same without them doing shows, so it's really great to have them back. But our primary sponsor, ready for this shit? IWE stepped up, met my price. So I mentioned them in the body of every single video and a shout out on just about every one. And this is Full Disclosure news and commentary. So you know I'm going to mention it here. IWE March 20th, second anniversary show. Bigger than King Kong's dick. And it's coming to you. It's coming to you. We need to talk about all this shit that people have been sending me. So last Monday, I mentioned that, like, I'm really happy with the weightlifting part, and I can thank Gunnar Miller for a lot of that, because Gunnar Miller, I followed his workout regimens very closely. I had questions for him. He always answered, so I modified. If only I had known this shit when I was a younger man, I think I would have definitely had a much smarter lifting and workout routine in my 20s and 30s. Nonetheless, I'm very grateful. It's fun for me to hit and do weights now. It's fun because you know, in large part because of Gunnar Miller. And I also have a bunch of other workout friends who I get tips from and things like that. But gotta lose this gut. Gotta lose this gut because your boy's about to get physical. And I want to look good. I want to feel good. I want to slim down. So for me, I've never had, I'm not going to say it wasn't effort. I'm not going to say it wasn't difficult, but I have the willpower to just, okay, like, I'm going to keep my carbs 60 or less, blah, blah, blah. I've always been able to do that kind of thing. But I sort of put a call out. If you know of anything that like sort of tastes good, looks good, whatever that's low carb, you know, let me know what it is. And whenever I say let me know, apparently what people do is they send me stuff. So somebody told me they were sending me this. So it's these tortillas, because you know I'm gonna miss tacos. I'm gonna miss the tacos. But they said these tortillas are actually really good, and they're only a carb a piece. So I got this, and I was excited. I was like, maybe I'll unbox these and start eating them and blah, blah. But then the next day I got these. And I'm like, what the hell are these? Flock chicken chips. A low to no carb. Basically, it's like a potato chip, but it's chicken. Go on. And my children, who are fucking smart, the older one, suggested this. Dad, do this call out. So I'm doing the call out right here. During the month of February, if you know of low to no carb stuff that can substitute, I'm half Asian, I'm half Japanese. If you can find me a half decent ramen noodle that is low carb, send that bitch to me. If you're a company or whatever, send me your low carb shit. And my kid was like, and try them all. Prepare food so you can try them all and do a review of that shit. So that's what I'm going to do. Whatever I get in the month of February, beginning of March, I'm going to hit that shit. By the way, you know how I picked my favorite match of January and then my favorite promo? Favorite promo being David Ali's thing. It was awesome. My favorite match being ERC against Narcissism. Well, I'll just, spoiler alert, there's going to be new motherfucking title holders at the end of February. The only question is, who's it gonna be? Who's it gonna be? Because Logan Creed's freaking thing with David Ali and Austin Towers and Crixus Creed was crazy. And Brandon, the second part of the Matt Hankins promo with the thing with him, Jacob Ashworth, Shane Marks, JJ, that thing was crazy. I've got this wackadoo shit between Skrilla the Great going up against friggin' Exotic Youth. Everybody's doing great shit, crazy shit. Keep sending that stuff to me. Again, paying customers come first, but I'll do my best to eventually get to everybody. So I know a lot of people have been sending me stuff. Oh, can you look at this? You should look at this. You should look at this women's match. I'm interested in the women's match that was sent to me of looking at it. I'm definitely going to try to get to all this stuff. Here's the thing, though. And I know you're like, Steve, you haven't even gotten into like a lot of the full disclosure shit. You're right. And the reason is because there's so much going on this week. What's going on, Steve? So Monday, obviously, that's today. Tuesday is my last chance to get a bunch of stuff done, which reminds me. So I was contacted by Twitch because I did the whole freaking 24-hour thing on my Twitch feed. And I've been doing stuff on there and all that kind of stuff. They told me that they want to make me an associate or whatever it is, basically where I start getting paid for that shit. But here's something that I need. I need more subscribers. What I have is a very small but incredibly loyal group of people who watch me and listen to me and shit like that on Twitch. What I need is just sheer numbers. Just more people who are subscribing and hooking up. It's twitch.tv/Stephen Platinum. If you could hook me up, I normally don't beg for subscribers and all that shit, but I would definitely love it if the Twitch thing was viable. I think it's really great. And they did nothing but come through for me for that whole 24-hour feed, which is bonkers. No, I don't suggest you go and watch the whole 20. Unless you want to see me getting loopy right around like hour 15. That's pretty hysterical. And you can see I still have the Valentine's Day balloons. Because it was Valentine's Day. I wanted to make it pretty. Speaking of pretty, look at those ladies behind me. Oh, crap. I have an unboxing. I always forget to do the fucking unboxing, so I'm doing it. Here it is. I don't know what it is. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to assume it's a t-shirt, so I'm going to unveil it to you the same time I unveil it to me on the suggestion of a very good friend of mine. 1, 2, 3, blam. What the fuck? No worry beef curry? No worry beef... Please say there's a note. No worry beef curry. I bet you this was for my birthday. I bet you this might be from my sister and her family. No worry beef curry. Shout out, by the way, to my sister's husband, Will, whose birthday was yesterday. Me and him get along. We call ourselves the Eggnog Brothers because we're the only two people that we knew who loved eggnog as much as we do. So we always get together. Plus, we're the same age because my sister's old. She's a cougar. So she married a younger dude. So me and him get along great because we're the same age. So we're into the same good music and all that shit. I don't know what my sister's into. Probably shit from like the fucking Flapper era or some shit. No worry beef curry. This is like a Hawaii thing, y'all. And I say that shit all the time. Fuck that. I'm excited about no worry beef curry. You know I'm excited when it goes over my quiet shirt. As you can see, the last few, well, I'd say the last two, full disclosure news and commentaries. It was kind of, not that they just weren't the usual high energy affairs. But I'm feeling very, very, very happy. So, no worry beef curry. Let's get on with it. KLT 450 plus. KLT 450 plus. And you can knock them all you want. That picture of dude getting his head shaved, fucking awesome. Side note, related loosely to KLT. So a lot of people commented and messaged me about the Tipping Point interview, which I thought was really good. I thought Sean gave a really good accounting of himself. However, we have to make something clear, right? They keep saying Sting is booked on October 20. He ain't booked because the vendor who was supposed to bring him in, who still haven't refunded everybody their money from the Sting shit, though they're supposedly getting to that. And Sean was upset that they haven't refunded everybody yet. So Sean says we're not going to have them as the vendor to bring Sting in. Because obviously they can't pay everybody back from the fucking autograph shit. How the hell are they going to fucking bring Sting in, right? So they still want to bring Sting in on October 23rd, but they don't have the vendor to do it yet. And that's from Larry Goodman. That ain't from me. So just letting you know the status on that shit. Wrestle America had a show on February 13th. I love the write-up, but they didn't say what the crowd was, so fuck them. You gotta say what your fucking crowd is. Pro South, Valentine's Day Massacre seemed like a very good show. Curious to see where Pro South is gonna go. Action. We got to talk about Action Wrestling. So I got on the IWTV. I checked it out. On Patreon, I did a commentary thing along with the Nolan Edward and Anthony Henry match. I was going to put that up publicly, and then I realized that's not cool because for Action Wrestling, you know, they obviously want people to sign up to IWTV and all that stuff and that's a big match, right? And a big show for them. So I didn't want to be that guy who puts shit out to discourage somebody from, well, I don't need to watch the show. I can just watch the match that I want to watch on Steve's thing. I ain't doing that. So I have it on Patreon. By the way, I have another big Patreon thing of a guy who a lot of indie people and wrestling people in general appear on the surface that they think a lot of, but secretly don't. And I have the proof why, and I have the reason why. That's on our next Patreon video. It's fucking big shit. It's big shit. Action though, $3,000 gate. You can't fuck with it, right? With the limited crowd that size and being able to pull in a $3,000 gate, good for them. By the way, the match between Nolan Edward and Anthony Henry, I fucking loved it. And I checked out Action in a way that I never have before. I watched at least a part of all the matches. Folks, I watch so much fucking wrestling. You can't bust my balls for not watching entire shows of indie stuff. However, I really enjoyed the action show. I really did. And I really hate their color commentator. Not hate as in heat. Hate as in fuck, he's fucking terrible. Beyond that, and I hate the way it's lit. Oh, it's so bright. It's just fucking... Eh. Beyond that, though, lately, a lot of wrestlers from Action, Alex Kane off the top of my head, Logan Creed are saying Action's number one. Here's what's interesting. Here's your triple threat match for number one promotion in Georgia. It's Southern Honor because it's theirs to lose. Let me make that crystal fucking clear. Southern Honor's to lose. But it's Southern Honor. It is Action Wrestling. And it is Anarchy Wrestling. And folks, let the games fucking begin. People get mad when I say shit like this and declare who's got allegiances to whom and all this kind of shit. Fucking please, someone try to argue with me that those are not the three top promotions. They most certainly fucking are. Now, are there people that may become viable? Are there people who may get there? Absolutely. Might we have new players in this game? Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the shows that are coming back and some of the shows that are canceling. Because that's the major story of the week, really. And by the way, your boy, I'll do my usual Tuesday videos. And then Wednesday morning, I'm getting up bright and early. And where am I going? Driving to Jacksonville. Going to motherfucking AEW Dynamite. Going to watch that good shit. Steve, you fucking with me. You ain't doing that. Watch and see, motherfucker. Watch and see. Let's address something before we talk about shows that are starting up again and shows that are stopping. Georgia Championship Wrestling. Because I've got a lot of messages where people go, they don't have the rights to use the name. Vince owns the rights. What's the fucking story? And blah, blah, blah. So I told people I'll look into it, which means I'll ask Larry and Larry will look into it. And he did. And here's the long and short of it. Chris Nelm says, well, Grady Odom has the rights to the name, and so he uses it, like he said that I can use it. Here's the truth. Nobody really owns that thing. And so can they use Georgia Championship Wrestling? Yes. Can they use that name? Yes. Is it okay if they run seminars or run ads and get money for ads for their program and use Georgia Championship Wrestling? It appears yes. Cool. Found out for you. And I reported it on Full Disclosure News and Commentary. Number 98. Peach State, starting on March 6th. Back to work. It's the name of the show. I love it. The return of viral pro wrestling. My God, a whole shit ton of people have sent me this fucking thing. It's about a 40-second video. If you haven't seen it, you can find it. It's very well done. Gorgeously produced. Wow, it's a top-notch motherfucking thing. I love it. Correct me if I'm wrong. April 17th. So they're promoting well in advance because they want you to make sure you don't motherfucking forget the name. I get that. AWE canceled their next tapings. Fucking sucks. They had their reasons, but it fucking sucks. Because I feel like just when they're getting the momentum, just when they're viable again, now they're not doing tapings. Sucks. And Southern Fried canceled their shit on March 6th. So what the fuck is going on there? And I gotta say, David Mander's putting out that weird video where he's talking about, I've got 2 businesses there and I'm thinking of not doing business there anymore, and he's fucking ripping the commission. What the fuck, David Manders? What the fuck? How did Southern Fried go from a strong 2 to number 2? Because that's where we're at. The fuck? Right now, make no mistake, it's Action, Southern Honor, and it's Anarchy. Anarchy And out of the three, Anarchy is doing the most dangerous crazy booking. So all of a sudden, Southern Honor has found heat. And fucking Action is doing angles and true storylines. And getting the big motherfucking matchups. This is a very exciting time in fucking Georgia wrestling, in case you didn't know. My God. All Pro Championship. Rob Rod was there. He's got his report up. They drew about 130. Yippee-ki-yo. And most of the top groups have their flyers are fine. Remember how we used to always bitch about so many people had shitty flyers and blah, 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 blah. Tyler Culprit might get mad about this, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you are a group that puts up shitty posters or posters that aren't that great, why are you not going to Tyler Culprit? Tyler Culprit told me, you know how much this motherfucker charges? Do you know how much this motherfucker charges for that good work? I don't even have to put his shit up. You know Tyler Culprit's shit is fucking good. This motherfucker, for first timers, he's going to charge you $20. $20! $20! So all you shitbird groups or people that don't really have time to do it, or groups that are viable groups that whose stuff looks kind of, get with Tyler Culprit. Red Shoes Media said a number of people contacted him. That's fucking great. And Southern Honor made the very viable argument that their photographer does a great fucking job. And you know what? They put up their pictures and they proved it. It's fucking great. And for the people who are going to bring in Red Shoes Media, you're going to be very happy. And I'm going to see that motherfucker on the 27th here in Florida, because they got a double shot show, ICW, in the afternoon at the Gulf View Center, and then at night at the pawn shop. I'm going to be at both motherfucking shows. Hell, you might see me WrestleMania week at a lot of those shows in a way that you can't even believe, but I got to keep that under wraps. What'd you just say, Steve? You heard me. You heard me. Let's talk about viable. I'm using that word a lot. What's viable mean? These are my motherfucking medals. You get these medals. So I had my fundraiser thing for the Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital. It's through this group called Extra Life. It's a bunch of gamers who want to raise money for children's hospitals. So I chose the Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital here in Orlando, Florida. This is the 5th year I've done it. And every year has gotten a little better, a little better. The last 2 years, I was awarded one of these medals. What do you got to do? You got to raise $500 in a year to get one of these medals, which I certainly did. In fact, they sent me this one a couple of days ago, which was good timing because I was just about to go into this year. I was never able to get close to that $1,000 mark, but I kept at it every year, and I kept at it every year, and I would set a bunch of different goals. Don't worry, this ties into wrestling. I set a bunch of different goals. One of them was I wanted to be number one in the world at something, and so I would play this game, Marvel Contest of Champions, still play it every motherfucking day. And there was an arena that lasted 24 hours, and my goal was to be number one in the world, even though millions of people, literally millions of people play that fucking game. I was like, I'm going to be number one. And I had gotten as close as 4 and even 3 in the world, but I just couldn't break through. And then last year, before COVID hit and we still had hope and dreams and stars in our eyes, I was like, this is the year I do it. So I saved up all year, all these resources in the context of the game so I can boost my points and all this kind of shit. And I'm like, I'm going to kill it. Usually I would get, for perspective, like 4 million points, 7 million points. And I would be like 4th or 3rd in the world. Last year, more than 10 million points, number one with the motherfucking bullet. Pacow. So I did it, and I raised about $625. I was awarded one of these medals. Wonderful and good. This year, I was seriously thinking about not doing it. Work stuff has been so incredibly difficult, and people who know me personally know that recently I took another broadside fucking cannon shot, blown right on the side of the ship that is the SS Platinum. And I was like, fuck, I got so much shit to worry about. I don't know if I should do it. And it seemed like it was coming up really fast. I was just like, oh, it's day after Valentine's Day. That's weird. Etc., etc., etc. And I haven't been promoting it. Like last year, I started promoting that stuff in December, right? And I haven't really been promoting it to my friends. But I have been doing this video game thing. And, you know, I got the Twitch stream and it's going, and I'm keeping up with it, and I'm doing all that shit. And what if I could and people had always said, like, can you transmit it? I want to see you playing. And I'm like, why the fuck you want to see me playing, doing the same shit again and again in Marvel Contest of Champions? Well, last year I accomplished my goal. I was #1 in the world in that arena. So do I defend the title or just go for more points? That didn't seem very sexy. And somebody said, well, maybe if you played a game where people could actually kind of follow along when they felt like it, and it was like more storyline based, my children who are fucking smart. And I went, you're right. And I love these Walking Dead Telltale games. So I took that on this year, and I promoted the fact that I was going to do a different kind of game, and people would come onto the stream. I never had less than 3 people watching at any given time. And it was a lot of fun. And I did my shit and raised over $1,000. So at the beginning of next year, when I do this, not only will I have one of these silver medals, and I believe I'm going to collect the silver medal because I'm going to have 3 of them bitches. Blam, be Mark Spitz up in this shit. I'm going to have a gold medal. And this year I'm keeping the shirt. Every year my kid takes my shirt. But I'm going to keep the shirt too. Viable. What's it take for your promotion to be viable? I'm going to speak some harsh truths, some harsh words. For as far as my own viability, I told the Tapped Out guys yesterday, because we were talking about all these shows that are like bowing out of doing shows and all this stuff. And I go like, it's the hardest part of being viable is you're not viable if you're not reliable. If the people can't look at the sun set and rise on you, you're not viable. Now, COVID hit everybody hard, and there wasn't a group, with the exception of AEW and fucking WWE, that did not have to cancel or alter their shit. I get that. But the viable promotions are the ones that fought to come back. The viable promotions are the ones that made good. The viable promotions are the ones that had to eat shit a little bit. I heard a lot of declarations of, we're not going to run again until we can do it without any kind of restrictions or rules. But that wasn't fucking true. And the ones that were willing to eat shit proved themselves to be viable. And the ones that couldn't make it happen are not viable. And that definition of viable versus not viable, we now know that it is fluid. Viable. As I've continued to expand what I do, change what I do, be creative about what I do, find the things that people seem to enjoy that I enjoy as well. My thing is completely different. If you look at fucking Full Disclosure #1, it has no resemblance to what I do now. There certainly weren't people sending me all kinds of shit. There certainly was a different kind of attitude from me. There certainly was now people scramble to get shit posted and shit sent to me before Monday, because they want me to talk about their shit. And I love it. Now there's even people who fucking give me money, so I talk about their shit and emphasize this. And they want to be the sponsor of this, and they want to be sponsor of that, and they want to fucking fight with each other through who's giving me more money. Oh no, big problems for me. Not really. I love it. And it's fucking great. But that's because I'm viable. Because I am reliable. You're going to see motherfucking videos out of Steven Platinum. And I've created a body of work. And I've created a body of work that anybody can look at. Now, we can argue and you can say, I don't like this and I don't like that. And only a few people watch this and a few people watch that. Whatever. At the end of the day, how many fucking times have I done videos about Raw? SmackDown, Dynamite. I was covering dark when nobody was covering dark. Period. And talking about shit on dark. Teaching. Covering impact. Think about that. 5 fucking shows that I cover with a video every week. Full disclosure, we just hit 98. When I get to 104, you know what that means? 2 years of doing that shit once a week. How many P lists are there? How many, but wait, there's more, have there been? You can find out because you can look at the playlists below. I am viable because I am reliable. Steve Platinum is going to talk about some shit. And Steve Platinum is going to get into shit. That's a part of my brand too, is it not? And sometimes it makes people nervous. Sometimes it scares the shit out of Larry. Oh no, Steve's popping off about this. Steve's popping off about that. And people are really upset and blah, 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 blah. How many fucking tipping points have we done until that thing is viable? Here's how viable Tipping Point is. Tipping Point was a name that I came up with for the podcast. For me, then Rachel and Larry to do together. Now it's me and Larry, right? What was the name of the podcast before it was Tipping Point? You have no fucking idea. None. Because it's Tipping Point. Because we've done that shit for so long and so consistently. The Georgia Wrestling History Awards, which now people bring up in their shows, in their wrestling shows, that shit's viable. Because we made a conscious decision that we were going to make that shit viable. And any problems that people had with the voting system and the unfair nomination system and all that shit, we addressed that shit. That fucking committee puts in fucking work. We all put in work. Because we know if you're not reliable, you're not viable. So we had to make that shit reliable. Something that people could count on. That it was a peer-based award. That no longer were motherfucking security guards and nacho sellers and ticket rippers gonna get a fucking vote when it came to the performance of the boys and the girls that really do it in professional wrestling. And I make no apologies about that. It is viable because it is reliable. Remember this fucking years ago where like wrestling groups were like, we're going to do our own awards because we don't believe in blah, blah, blah. And all these fucking jack off little wannabe Georgia wrestling history sites. We're going to do our awards. And where are all of them now? Waiting, listening. Can't hear them. We're talking about Anarchy. Why is Anarchy one of the biggest shows right now? Because you could have put a toe tag on those motherfuckers not all that long ago. They're viable because they are reliable. They're doing shows again. And the people who are putting on those shows, you can set your motherfucking watch by Matthew Hankins and Todd Sexton. You can set your watch by those fuckers. No matter what they think of me, I can call something accurately. They are viable because they are reliable. Southern Honor, you can count on Gary to Gary. You can count on Dylan to be Dylan. But here's what else you can count on. If they've got a problem and it gets pointed out to them and they agree that it's a problem, they fix that shit. People want to hate on Southern Honor? Fine. I've seen it first fucking hand. Whatever critiques got leveled at them that were legit, no group adapts faster and better in spite of being the biggest with the best production. We've seen that that's not easy to do on a macro level. The WWE, it's a ship that is hard to steer. They can only do incremental changes for a million different reasons, being publicly traded, la, 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 la. They are a content provider, and they've made that abundantly clear. Art for them is very low on the scale, and money is incredibly high on the scale. And there's a price for that. The benefit is We're in the money. The bad part is it's not a very exciting product. And it's not sexy enough. But it's reliable. It's the ultimate in reliable. So they are viable. AEW, they're reliable. And they're reliable in different ways, right? They're a group that strives to do the right thing, whatever that means, almost to a fault. But they are reliable. That's why they're viable. The news of the AWE tapings not happening was really crushing to me. Because everybody knows, like, fucking Murder and I have gone round and round, and Josh Wheeler fucking hated me and all this kind of shit. But the truth is, I wanted them to have a redemption story. That when they were doing Combat Wrestling Entertainment or whatever the fuck that was, in front of 20 people or whatever the fuck, like, that's not a dragon for me to slay. I can't even get excited about that shit. And fucking Murder was mad because I was pointing it out. And a little fucking behind the scenes shit. And we had a fucking talk. He was fucking mad. And me and him, we've challenged each other to fucking fist fights and all kinds of crazy shit. But I was happy to hear about them back as... And I told him, and he'll fucking back this up. I said, get 100 people in the fucking building so I have something to talk about besides the fact that nobody gives a fuck about what you're doing. And they did it. And they continue to do it. And they continue to get momentum. And then the Roku TV thing happened and all of that. And they did not just one series of tapings. They did another. And it seemed like they were viable again. Because they were reliable again. And this cancellation fucking sucks. And if it's because of COVID like they says they is, I can't argue with it. But I can only tell you, it hurts the viability. Does it not? Southern Fried. You go from having the hottest angle to people sensing that something was amiss, which is why I'm convinced Manders against Todd did not win for Feud of the Year. What did win? Barons against Hankins. You know why? Because it was reliable. And thus, it was viable. And now Southern Fried. It feels unreliable on multiple levels. And Todd's a big part of that shit, just like he's a big part of Anarchy. So you can't tell me Todd's the factor of Southern Fried being unviable. He is not. It's Manders. And this is an inability to nail down a building. And they did some outdoor shows, and they did really well. And then I get that it's cold in Georgia. Is it though? It's because it's fucking hot as fucking Florida. I had to run a fucking fan yesterday. I was just like, I'm dying. By the way, me changing my freaking the way I raise money for the charity. When I played Marvel Contest of Champions for the first 4 years, you know what the good part was? It was on my phone or a tablet, which meant I could, and it wasn't streaming. So I didn't have to entertain anybody but myself. So I could watch motherfucking TV. I would knock out 2.5 seasons of Game of Thrones. You know, shit like that. I would watch like 3 seasons of Game of Thrones while I did the 24-hour thing and just fucking do the same shit on the tablet. And whenever I got tired or I felt like I needed a boost of energy, because I don't really do caffeine and shit, I would just fucking go take a walk. I would take like a 30-minute walk. And then I would stop at the IHOP and fucking sit down and eat. And I would just keep playing on my phone. And the points continue to rally up. But because I was playing and I was using my game capture software through my laptop and all this kind of shit, I had to reset up. I had to rethink everything. I had to bring in this rolly chair from upstairs that the kids use. In fact, a friend of mine, God bless her, she was going to buy me a gamer chair. That way you can be comfortable, Steve, and blah, blah, blah. But I said, nah, I'd rather have you give the money to the charity, which she did. She's the one who did the matching funds thing. So I had to be stationary. I had to be here for 24 hours playing this fucking game on that TV through this laptop. So it was a new set of challenges, but I think I did good. I think I did well, I should say. It's viable because it's reliable. And it took 5 years to pay off, folks, where the people that I went to school with, saw that it was real and viable. And a number of them donated money. And that was the thing that pushed it over, well over the 1,000. But it was also people like Matt Griffin and Dylan who jumped in right away giving money, which encouraged others to do it. And then the tapped out guys came in with the fucking biggest amount early of 100. It wasn't just good friends of mine. In fact, good friends of mine tend not to support the charity thing for any different reasons, which is fine. And P.S. We're coming off of 2020, which was a financial fucking horror show of a year for almost everybody. So to pull it off in this year was really a testament to how generous people were in spite of tough circumstances. But it's viable because it is reliable. Return of Viral in April. It's cool. And Viral and I have gone round and round, and they've gotten mad about me because of things I've said in the past of like, can you really be the best show if you're only doing 8 shows a year and that kind of thing? And they got mad. But I'll say this. I'm glad they're fucking back. Without them, it's not as big a deal. The scene isn't as vibrant without them here. But I will say in their absence, people have filled the vacuum, and they're going to have to force their way in again. This idea of, and I get that it's hyperbole. It's like, while the king has slept and all that. That's great. James Caleb Kitchens can say that kind of shit. But the truth is, the feeling is, Viral hasn't done a show in fucking forever. We can't even remember the last one they did. It was last January or February. Fucking shit. It's been a year, more than a year. They'll be 14 fucking months away. Right? What's the key for them to be truly viable when they come back? They've got the production in order. Obviously, Hancock and fucking Kitchens, they got the drive. They'll have the crew. And they've always treated their crew really well. But until they are reliable, they cannot be considered viable. It has nothing to do, really, with, could they be a promotion of the year when they've only done shows since April and blah, 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 blah. All those debates and standards go out of the window if you're doing great shit in a reliable way. That's the only real measuring stick that fucking matters. Right? Let's be real. The shows that have pulled themselves up from a F ranking to a D, from a D to a C, from a C to a B, and a B to an A are shows that made steady improvements along the way and proved themselves to be reliable in making good decisions and better changes. Reliable doesn't mean that you're the same. That's the other lesson of this shit. Reliable doesn't mean that you're the same. Reliable means we can count on you to expect a certain amount of quality and that quality standard will continue to improve. I'll be blunt. Southern Violence has improved their roster tremendously. The boys love Justin, the fucking booker. They love him. And as they said in the great movie, right? A Knight's Tale. Your men love you. If I knew nothing else about you, that would be enough. Right? Whatever you think about PCW, After Me and whatever the rest, the boys fucking love Hankins. They love him. Not because he gives them things, but because of who he is. He is viable because he is reliable. And people can try to knock him down as he was just a fan sitting in your front row and all the rest of that shit. And I'm not saying that because of the Jacob Ashworth promo. That's fucking wrestling shit. I'm saying it because it's a knock that people still try to hit him with. And it's fucking stupid. Because he's more reliable than fucking anybody else. And what are we relying on? Not just his presence, but of his greatness. There, I fucking said it. He's viable because he's reliable. He is one of the instrumental reasons why Anarchy went from having a fucking toe tag on it, on one foot that said Anarchy, and a toe tag on the other foot that said Why We Wrestle, and fucking brought them back. And how did Dan bring them back in the first place? To set the stage where Hankins could help them even further. because that motherfucker's quality was reliable and he helped make them viable. Peach State's coming back. If they can run shows on the regular and run these good fucking shows and do it reliably, they will be viable once again. Pro South. Why are we fucking talking about Pro South? Whereas 3 years ago we were not, because they were reliable. Not just that they continued to do shows, though that was a lot of it. They continued to act like the fucking grown-ups in the room, dealing with the Alabama Commission, and then they did the great shit. It's where the boys want to fucking work. That's what they center their shit on. Not everything works. Guess what? In any creative venture, not everything is going to work. But if you can reliably continue to move up, right? Stocks go up, stocks go down. But what you're looking for is that fucking upward trend in the long haul. Now look at your fucking career. Are you reliable? Ask anybody. Ask any motherfucking trainer worth a shit. You can ask QT. You can ask Robert Gibson. You can ask Rudy. You can ask me, motherfucker. What do we want? You ask any promoter, any booker who's worth a shit. What's the number one thing? I want motherfuckers I can count on. We can talk about quality of work. We can talk about the ability to cut a promo. We can talk about a motherfucker who can hit click, share on a fucking poster on Facebook. Yeah. But you're looking for reliability. Who can I count on? Who can I count on to be a positive influence? Who can I count on to show up and do their shit? Who can I count on to keep the locker room frosty? You are not viable until you are reliable. If you apply this motherfucking standard to everything, including and especially yourself, then you're going to know. Oh, what I was saying about Southern violence. Sorry, I didn't finish my thought. I'll finish that thought and then I'll fucking amscray. Because I want to go pick up dinner to celebrate me getting more than $1,000 for the fucking charity. The fact that I can now tour that hospital. I used to do it before I would do this event to remind myself why it was important and to include my kids. This time I said, unless I hit that 1,000, I'm not going to take that tour. But now that I have, I'm going to take that tour. You know why? Because I know that I'm motherfucking reliable. I set a goal and I finally fucking hit it after 5 fucking years. And I'm going to take that tour with my kids, and it's going to, as people say, it's going to hit differently. And you know what? I know my kids. My kids will be inspired, and they're going to go, we want to raise money for these guys too. We want to raise things to help these premature babies. We want to raise things because it's the #1 emergency motherfucking hospital for children in the entire state. When shit goes down, they bring them there. And what was important to me is if you have a financial need, they don't turn anybody away. They're viable because they are reliable. So they get me in turn to raise money for them and a lot of other people too. Children's Miracle Network, all that stuff ties in to the Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital. In any case, Southern Violence. Their roster has continued to improve. And then the people that they have as a steady part of their roster who have been loyal have continued to improve. Very Morales, his career is going up and up and up and up and up and up. Axel Foley, his promos are fucking undeniably great. Right? But I'll be brutal and I'll be blunt. If you've got C. Nick as your motherfucking ring announcer instead of the good ones, and there's a bunch of good ones, I can't take you serious. We're relying on you to bring us the best because you want to be the best. If somebody had told me 2 years ago that Southern Violence would be winning this motherfucking this Cold War slugfest going on between them, Southern Fried, and whatever Chris Nelms is a part of, I would have never fucking believed it. But here we are. Southern Violence is kicking their ass. Southern Violence was up for promotion of the year. But until we can go there and go, every piece of this is much better than it was before, and it's on par or better than what everybody else is doing, how viable are you? So wrestlers, managers, referees, ring announcers, commentators, all the rest of it. It's more than just showing up. That's one of the definitions of reliable. But can we rely on you to continue to improve? Can we rely on you to continue to be great? Can we rely on you to continue to elevate this fucking thing we call pro wrestling? Because, folks, whether you missed the memo or not, it is great right now. And part of the problem is, as the level of the water rises and all the boats are rising with it, some motherfuckers are in danger of getting drowned. If you're not reliable, you are not viable. So, you going to rise up and float, or are you going to drown? That's not up to me or Larry or Georgia Wrestling History or Popular Opinion. That's on you. So make it happen. And to the people who donated, thank you very much. This has been Full Disclosure.